Hello everyone, for those of you that don't know me, my name's Scott and I am one of the mentors with the team at Touchstone, and I'm making this video live from Union Square in San Francisco, specifically for the Touchstone community. So I'm out here basically with my service accommodation business, and we're doing some amazing things. I won't go into it here, but follow me on Facebook and you'll see all the cool stuff that I'm doing out here in Silicon Valley. But basically 4 years ago, we didn't do much service accommodation. We did a little bit of holiday home management, but probably 4 years ago, we went on Paul Smith's very first service accommodation masterclass. So the very, very first one before it was even launched to the general public. And I want to make this video just to tell you that 4 year difference from then, when we had very little service accommodation, and did Paul Smith's very first service accommodation masterclass, the difference that 4 years has made. So for those guys that think it's hard to get into property, or that, hey, the boat's passed, people have already done it, it isn't too late, because 4 years ago we didn't have a service accommodation business. Now we do. We're on track to be the UK's largest management company. We're here, we're going to Silicon Valley. I am literally going to Silicon Valley Bank. I'm just waiting on the transport arriving to pitch Pillow to get millions of pounds worth of investment to take this, what we do service accommodation wise, into the US. We've had meetings like this all day. Yesterday we were at Facebook campuses, we were in Silicon Valley, and we were meeting, it was a billionaire investor guy. He was just mega rich, but we're literally sitting in Steve Jobs' boardroom where he built Apple before they moved to the big super place. But we were literally in the same boardroom meeting a billionaire that Steve Jobs was in, and he built Apple. Now, if you told me 4 years ago when I was starting my service accommodation journey that any of this would be possible, I wouldn't have believed you. But after the very first service accommodation masterclass, I knew that particular strategy, service accommodation, was for me. And again, I've been part of Touchstone from being the student side, paying for the courses, being in the service accommodation masterclass and then the mastermind, and going on to mentor and share my experience with everyone else around the service accommodation topic. So service accommodation is close to my heart, but I'm making this specifically for probably the new members of the community that think, shit, this is hard. I don't have any experience. I don't have any traction. People don't know my name. I'm going into a market that's already busy and has been operating. Actually, none of that matters. And I thought I dreamt pretty big until I came here. And yesterday, speaking to that multi-billionaire person, I told him my big plans for Pillow. And he pretty much said, yeah, that's cool, you could start with that, but then you could do so much more. The thinking in Silicon Valley from these investors and venture capitalists is just so much higher than us. So I want to give you guys that message. I might do a little slot at the next Platinum to share the thinking, the difference in the thinking here, because the difference here from the UK, people sometimes want you to fail in the UK. The friends and family want you to fail. People don't want to see you being more successful. But the attitude of America and San Francisco and Silicon Valley specifically is that failing's a good thing, because people will buy into you more after you've failed. So if it's your first journey and you haven't failed before, then people say, no, I'll take a risk on you. But if you've failed in 1, 2, 3, 4 businesses, the investors here assume that you've learnt your lessons, you're now a more sophisticated business person and entrepreneur. They actually give you more kudos. And I think that's something that the UK needs more of, the ability to fail and for it not to be a bad thing. So final message, you need to have big, massive dreams. You need to not be afraid of failure, and you need to start your journey now. Do not wait, because I nearly didn't implement service accommodation. If I didn't implement it at the exact time I did, and I was going to wait and I didn't, I got my first rent-to-rent property in Paul Smith's very first service accommodation masterclass. On day one, I got it secured at lunchtime. I was phoning people up and I got one secured at lunchtime. If I hadn't have done that on that first masterclass, I would not be here today pitching my business to Silicon Valley Bank and 10 other different investors. So take action, think big, and don't be afraid of failure. And I'll see all you guys hopefully at the next Platinum, at some of the courses, or at some of the 6-figure summits. Take care and think big.